Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be reviewing the Cannondale Synapse 2 RLE road bike. Endurance bikes strike a balance between comfort and performance by utilizing less aggressive geometry and compliant setups to soak up the harshness on the road. Cannondale's popular Synapse series of bikes offer carbon fiber and aluminum options for new or experienced cyclists looking for comfort and speed. In this review, we're specifically looking at the Cannondale Synapse Carbon 2 RLE, which combines a carbon fiber frame with their innovative SmartSense system. In terms of specs, this is $5,500. You get their Synapse carbon frame, which has discrete flex zones built directly into the frame. You also get the SmartSense system, which is that RLE part of the model. That gives you a rear radar, front headlight, and a taillight that are all interconnected and then driven through a central battery. You get Ultegra Di2 R8000 drivetrain, which includes hydraulic disc brakes, so you get really fast shifting with the high performance that Shimano is known for. You also get really premium components with this bike. You get the Fulcrum Rapid Red 500 alloy wheel set with 700 by 30 Vittoria tires, as well as a Fizik Argo saddle. The bike also has compliance all the way up to 35mm tires if you want to go wider. We have the 58cm frame here in the cool mint color. In our scales, it comes out to 19.8 pounds, which is pretty good for an endurance bike with a full carbon frame. You can obviously drop some pounds if you upgrade some of the components like the wheel set, but as is, it's great for climbing or sprinting. This is a mid-tier bike within the lineup. So to give you a little more context on that, Cannondale has the endurance bikes, which is known as the Synapse. They have their alloy road racing bike, which is the CAD 13. Then they have their carbon fiber road racing and aero bikes, which are the Super 6. Within the Synapse lineup, you have a ton of options from the $1,800 Tiagra setup all the way up to the $9,000 Carbon 1 RLE, which has Dura-Ace Di2. As you go downward, you have the $7,000 LTD RLE, which is GRX 800. You have the version we have here, the $5,500 Carbon 2 RLE. For $4,500, you can get a Carbon 2 LE, which drops the radar and goes down to 105 Di2. If you're more budget conscious, you can go down to a Carbon 3L version, which just has the front light, and that is $3,300 with 105 mechanical drivetrain. They even have more budget-oriented ones like the Tiagra setup with the Carbon 4 and the Aluminum 2 variation, which is only $1,800, so quite a few options here. And with the carbon ones, you get the same frame throughout, while the aluminum ones are much more budget-friendly. As you can see, the bike has a classic endurance-style geometry. We have the 58cm frame here, but you can see the bottom bracket's lower. And then you have a tall head tube with a slack angle. So it puts you in a more upright and comfortable position. The frame is full carbon fiber, so no welding here. You have very smooth curves and a nice bevel along the inner triangle. You can see the cables run down the down tube, and you have simple branding with Cannondale and a water bottle cage on the top. The top tube actually tapers down and is sloping downward a bit. The down tube has a square profile with that beveling, and then the battery at the bottom and the water bottle cages. You get an FSA drop bar with the dual lever Ultegra Di2 setup, so really easy to modulate, and you get a K-edge aluminum out front mount with a Lezyne headlight pre-installed onto it, and then the top Garmin mount for your computer. This is an electronic setup, so you just have a cable for the front and rear disc brakes and a power cable for the SmartSense system. You can see there's plenty of space on the fork as you have disc brakes and up to 35mm compatibility. Standard seat post mount, and then you can see the offset seat stays, so they're actually not at the same level as the top tube, and that gives you more compliance, more aerodynamic, and allows Cannondale to tune each frame. You get a really nice saddle. It's a Fizik Argo, and then you can see you have the rear Garmin radar and Lezyne taillight attached to a saddle rail mount. If you want to install a saddle bag, you have to get an extender to push that out to fit the straps. You can see the hidden fender mounts on the insides of the fork, and then the tread on the 700 by 30 Vittoria tires. So a nice balance between performance and comfort. The battery here is fully integrated but removable. Nice little toggle, and then you just simply lock it in place. You have 4 LED indicator on top and a USB Type-C port. The cables that run to the lights are fully integrated within the frame, but the battery sits on top so it doesn't mess with the geometry. 11 by 28 cassette on the rear, so nice smooth shifting. Then a compact 50 by 34 Ultegra crankset. So a really great combination, gives you a wide range of gearing. And then you can see the seat stays from the rear, plenty of clearance again. They have a removable bridge that we don't have installed, but you can see the seat stays flare out. So you have a nice sleek profile. Now let's take a look at some riding footage with the Cannondale Synapse. Overall, really impressed with the bike, especially in the cool mint color. We got a lot of compliments with it. You have the nice matte green on the front and then the metallic green on the inner triangles and the rear triangle. So really nice feature and really sets off the bike compared to the standard white and black variations on the market. Even though it's an endurance bike, it's still very agile and fun to ride. And you have that premium look that you expect with a road racing bike. So they've struck a nice balance with it. You have a nice compliance with this bike as well. So even over rough bumps, those 700/30 tires absorb a lot of the harshness and the carbon fiber frame can flex. So it's a great bike overall. We do wish it had more narrow tires. We'd prefer 700/28 or something a little bit more aggressive, but the 700/30 work well. And we don't think you really need to update much on this bike once you buy it. The saddle is really nice, the handlebars, so all the components are high end, and there's no real weak link here. The shifting on here is also really excellent. Even though you don't really need the Ultegra level drivetrain, it's fast and smooth, so you don't really have to worry about it. It's just fast clicks with low effort. And then you have a wide gear ratio here, so you have the compact crank and then 1100/28 on the rear, so it's great for climbing or doing really fast sprints. The other thing with this bike is the SmartSense system. We're not entirely sure if we're behind that system yet. They don't have any upgradability with that, so you can't upgrade the battery or the lights. What you get is what you see. They do have an STVZO version for Germany, but that's the only variation that they currently have. You can see here the taillight here does work well, but it's not our favorite. We still prefer the Bontrager Flare R or some of the Magishine options. But with this fully integrated setup, it's very seamless. So you just jump on the bike, the lights automatically turn on, and after 6 minutes of no motion, they automatically go into a sleep mode. So it's very seamless. You just jump on the bike. You don't have to worry about charging multiple devices. You have a single battery. We do wish the battery was bigger though. With the current battery, we get about 10 hours of runtime. So if you do a really long ride, you're still gonna have to charge this at least once a week. And you can see here the taillight has a lot of integrated features as well. So when it detects a car, you can see the mode switches. And that's a really cool feature of this. It also has the ambient light sensor built in. So automatically switch between daytime mode and whichever previous mode you had set up. So it's a great experience overall. You don't even need to really touch the app as all the defaults work well. We didn't have any issues with connectivity or reliability with this light setup, but we do wish there were more options to upgrade it. But overall, really fun bike. I would probably recommend going down to one of the mechanical drivetrain setups for a little bit more value, but with this bike, it's really fun to ride. And if you like an electronic drivetrain, I think this is a good value. Now let's take a look at the Cannondale app. With this app, you can actually see all your bike details. So once you connect to it, you can see the name, Synapse Carbon 2 RLE. You can look at your bike detail, serial number, even down to the color, service. You can set reminders, so as you do more riding and mileage, it'll automatically remind you to do certain services. It has a full part list, so the stock setup is fully listed here, which is pretty cool. So if you ever need to replace something and you don't know what you have, you can just double check here and make sure you buy a proper replacement. The other really cool thing about this is you can actually control the SmartSense system. And that's one of the main features here, so you can activate it. So you can hear it's waking up. It shows you the battery percentage, so you get a nice detailed number. You can control different features here. So the auto low power mode, so I'll go into eco mode to preserve the battery. Auto wake up, which is the default. It automatically turns on when you start moving, but you can turn that off and make it a manual thing. Update firmware. You can control the light mode, so if you click on light, you can see there's high vis, twilight, power saver, and pulsing. That'll automatically switch to the active mode, and you can even see an animation. They also have a lot of cool features here which you can customize. By default, they're all mostly on, and it makes it for a great seamless experience, but you can actually turn them off. They have an auto low light mode, so it'll go to the high vis mode automatically. You have a brake alert mode, which will detect braking and then update the rear light. You also have auto low power mode again, so that'll preserve the lights by going to eco mode. You have the reaction to the radar, which is kind of cool, so it flashes a different pattern. And you even have this nice feature called auto proximity flash, so like a luxury car, when you approach it, it'll flash, so it's kind of nice. So really nice setup, and you can even do full rides here. So if you go to the ride mode, you could start the ride, it'll show you the radar. You can actually hear the radar alerts on here and display them on there. You can control your SmartSense, all very conveniently with this three-screen display. So you get everything you get from a standard display because you actually get the smart sensor speed and then time and distance directly. So really nice setup and a well thought out app. Now let's go over the scorecard for the Cannondale Synapse Carbon 2. We're going to grade on 4 different categories: design, components, handling, and value. For design, we give it an A. You have a sleek and functional design, a very smooth endurance geometry with additional features like the hidden mounts and then additional water bottle cages on the top tube and then on the down tube. Components, we give an A. The Ultegra Di2 shifts smoothly and fast, and you have the hydraulic disc brakes that give you a lot of confidence to descend quickly. Handling, also give it an A with that endurance geometry. You have the more slack head angle, which gives you a lot of smooth and confidence-inspired handling. And then you have the more upright position, which gives you more control of the bike. For value, I'd give it an A-. It's really well priced compared to other Ultegra Di2 bikes. We don't think it's the best value within the Synapse lineup. I'd recommend going with the mechanical 105, as you can save a lot of money and then upgrade the wheels and other features if you want to bring down the weight. But overall, really nice bike. It's fun to ride, and I think the SmartSense system has a lot of potential. You have the fully integrated setup, the lights automatically turn on, you have the rear radar, but I'd really love to see more upgradability before I'd really get behind the system. So thanks for watching this review. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can see more content from us on our website at thesweetcyclist.com, as well as follow us on Instagram at thesweetcyclists. This is The Sweet Cyclist reminding you to enjoy the ride.